We need to talk about camp. You guys know that summer camp is one of my favorite things. I love traveling, I love living abroad, I love doing unique things that give you experiences you would never get otherwise. And I think it's time we need to talk about what's behind the scenes. There are so many amazing vlogs on YouTube, days in the life, videos of color war and all the exciting camp events, which is amazing. And that is all of our end goals, to have those beautiful experiences. But there is so much work that goes into actually becoming a camp counselor and getting a J1 visa. So I think it's time that we sit down, we look at the reality of it, and we go through every single step of what you can expect on your journey. So if you have not yet, pause this video, go grab a cuppa, join me while we will be talking through everything you need to know to become a camp counselor. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Caitlin, and me and my partner have been traveling and living abroad and moving around for probably 4 or 5 years now. We love traveling so much, and summer camp has been a really big part of that for me especially, and now my partner as well. This will be my 3rd summer returning to camp, and it has just changed my life in ways that I never thought it would have. I have seen so much of the US, I have met so many beautiful people, I have had the pleasure of mentoring so many beautiful girls that I now get to see finish their summer camp experience this year, and it has truly just been one of the best things I ever chose to do. So I want to talk about everything you need to know, because this process can be a little bit overwhelming, but it is hands down one of the best things you'll ever do in your life. So today we are going to talk through every single step of your process. If I was you, I would grab a notepad and a pen and start jotting down things you need to know. I'm going to tell you all about the agency I recommend, things that you might not know you need to prepare, and how you can get started now so you also can be at camp next year with everyone else. Before we go ahead, pause this video and let me know in the comments why you're watching this. Are you curious about camp and trying to learn more? Are you halfway through your process and trying to make sure you haven't forgotten anything, or trying to see what's next? I would love to know, because I think there's so many people at different stages of this, and it would be really cool to see why you guys are here and how I can help you through it even more. But if you are one of those people who are right at the start of their process, and just even thinking about it, you've seen someone go to camp and you're curious about what it is, same, been there. That's exactly how I started, and I did a huge deep dive of everything on YouTube to try and learn about it and see what this experience was like. So if you're in that stage, I hope my other videos have been helpful for you too, and this is going to be a really informative one. Now, camp is amazing, and in order to go, you need to go on a J1 visa. It's a very specific camp counselor visa for the United States, and to do that you have to have a program sponsor. You'll hear people talking about all different agencies, and it can be really overwhelming, but having tried a couple, I can confidently say AmeriCamp are a fantastic company. Now, this is a UK based company who will guide you through pretty much every single step I'm going to talk about today. They will give you forms you need, they will tell you what to do and when to do it, and it just makes the whole process so easy. Now, we're going to talk about how they'll help you a little bit more when it sort of comes to those steps, but you can't go to the US without a visa sponsor. So having an agency is something you have to do. So making sure you choose one that is going to support you and be an amazing asset to you through this journey is really important. So I'm going to pop their details down below and we'll talk about it a little bit more, but they are my company that I would keep on your radar. Now, before we move on, if you do sign up to AmeriCamp, I do have a discount code down in the description for you below. This will help you save money off your program fees, so feel free to use that. Okay, so let's imagine you have done all of your research, you know you want to be a camp counselor now, you're 100% set on going and having this experience. The first real step you're going to take is applying online. Now, you can go to the website linked in my description or up the top there for you and apply through that link. Now, someone will make contact with you. That is a free step. There is no cost involved, but that first application is probably the biggest step, it feels like, and really exciting. Once you start that application process, you will go through a whole application where you will share information on yourself, skills that you have, experience in different activities, experience with kids, job references. It's a whole deep dive and sort of explanation into who you are as a person and what you have to offer. It is not intimidating or scary at all. It's really quite easy to put together, and it's really exciting to start seeing all of the different jobs on offer and activities available at camps. And for me, I remember that was such an exciting part to even try and narrow it down to 3 things that I was really good at and wanted to put on my application was actually a hard process. Once you've submitted that initial application, you will have your first interview. Now, this interview will be with AmeriCamp or a representative of AmeriCamp, where they will get to know you. You can ask them any questions about camp. It's a really informal and fun way to talk to someone who's been to camp as well, and show them what you have to offer and kind of what they can offer you as well. Fingers crossed that all gets approved for you. If you're here and you're learning about camp and you want to do camp, I'm so confident that everything will go so easily for you. But once you have your approval and your application goes through, then this is when we start submitting all of our extra documents. So one of the first things that you will need are 2 references. Now, these are people that you have worked with in the past. They can't be family members or friends. They need to provide a reference as to your character and abilities. Another form you'll need to do, which is so worth starting early, is your criminal record check and your medical forms. Now, your medical forms, you need to see a GP or someone who has access to your medical records and get signed off on your vaccinations, on your ability to work at camp, and to make sure you are fit and healthy to do the job. This one can take a little bit of time depending on what country you're from and what medical systems you're facing. It's not a hard process by any means, but it is worth starting that early. I know I've had to have catch-up vaccinations in the past as well, which just takes extra time. So making sure you start your medical form straight away is a big insider tip and hint for you, because you don't want to delay your process more than you have to. On top of that, criminal record checks can take a little bit of time to come back. Once you're kind of getting through the initial paperwork and form section of the application, this is when you get to start thinking about camps, which is so exciting. Now, my biggest tip to you, having done this as well, is be open-minded. It's really, really easy to get locked into what we think camp should be like and what we think our experience will be, because that's what we've seen of other people's, and it's just not the case. Social media is only ever a really small snippet of what things are actually like, and you don't want to let that sway you too much. For some perspective, there was someone I used to follow so much online. I think I watched all her videos, and she was a really big person in this camp space, and because that was all I knew, that's what I expected my camp experience to be like. I wanted a co-ed camp. I was expecting it to be a certain way from what I'd seen in videos, but it turns out that I didn't actually need that set experience to have an amazing experience. So if you don't know, there are lots of different types of camps. There's single-sex camps, there's co-ed camps, religious camps, special needs camps, not-for-profit camps, day camps. Honestly, I swear it's endless, but there are so many cool opportunities. But not being set on one of those is the best piece of advice I can give you, because that will mean you have so many more jobs you can apply for. AmeriCamp can work to pay you with a camp that is going to be amazing for you, even if they're not what you initially expected. I really thought I would end up at a co-ed camp, and I ended up loving this single-sex camp that I found before a job fair, and I would not change a thing in the world. I'm so glad I ended up at an all-girls camp, and it was honestly the best thing that could have happened to me at the time, but I'm sure there's so many options out there, so do not get locked into something. Now, there's a couple of ways you can go about getting a job. So AmeriCamp, your agency, will be a huge support for you, and they will work to match you with one of the camps in their system that would be a great fit for you. Based on your experience and what type of role you're looking to take at camp, they have an awesome network, and then they will kind of try and match you with one of their people. When they do, you will interview with the camp, and then fingers crossed you'll get that job. Now, another way you might get placed at a camp is through an in-person job fair, and I really recommend this if your timing aligns with when these fairs are held. Now, usually around the end of the year prior to the summer season, so around November-ish, December, camps will hold job fairs where their directors or representative of camp will fly to different cities all around the world, and they will have big fairs to try and hire a bunch of people. But it is such a cool way to meet people, meet the camp directors directly, not via a screen, and to be able to really get a vibe of other people that are wanting to go to camp, what it's going to be like, what the camps have on offer. That's how I got hired my first year, and it was so awesome. Now, I believe they also offer these in February as well, in lead up for the June summer holidays. So have a look to see if there are job fairs on, depending on the time you are applying, because that can be really fun. I think the job fair I went to had up to 30 camps, so I got to walk around and talk to them all and meet them all, and that's how I found the absolute camp of my dreams. But either way, it will be amazing. Trust in your agency and trust that AmeriCamp know what they're doing when it comes to pairing you with a camp. And whether you go and you meet the camp in person or they find an awesome one for you, it will be great regardless. Now, when it comes to that also, the more availability you have, like the earlier start date you have available, will give you a much wider range of jobs you can apply for. So I know generally around the 18th of June is the strict cutoff. The earlier you're available though, by far the better. So try and have as much flexibility as you can in that area too. So if your interview goes well, you've locked down your job, then this is when you get your job placement letter. There's a big online portal where all of these steps happen called InTracks. So you upload all your documents to there and then they give you documents back as well. So you'll get your job confirmation letter, which is so exciting. From there, once your job is locked in, you've got your confirmation, you've done all the forms and everything you need to do, this is when you will get issued with your DS 2019 form. Now, this is a really crucial form. You use it for your visa application, you need it when you enter the States. It's probably one of the most important documents aside from your passport. So getting this issued means that you're almost ready to apply for your visa. Once that form is issued to you, the next step is doing your DS 160. Now, this is your visa application. And I know all of these forms and names and acronyms sound really intimidating, but it is so easy when you're following step-by-step instructions. AmeriCamp send out 3 different booklets of how to apply for your visa, how to book your US consulate appointment, and what to take to the appointment. So everything is so explicitly given to you and they walk you through the steps. So if this sounds intimidating now, do not worry. This is why you have an agency and they will help you through the whole process. But the DS 160 is the longest application. I have done this application 4 times now. 1 year I didn't go to camp. I applied, but because of COVID, I couldn't go. So I didn't get to use that one. And then this is my 3rd year going back. So 4 times I have completed this application. And let me tell you, it is long and it is so frustrating because it times out like every 5 minutes. If you didn't save your work, then you do it again. It's an interesting system, but it's what we have to do to get there, so it's fine. And if you go in knowing it's going to take you probably 2 hours, then all is well. Hopefully you'll complete it quicker than that. But yes, your DS 160 is what you have to do. It is your actual visa application. So you will do that, hopefully with minor stress, and then you will get a confirmation page and your full application. I've always printed my full application and kept it with all my documents just for my own records. But then your DS 160 confirmation is something you actually have to take to your visa appointment. So it's really important. So we definitely print that one and we keep it separate. After you've done that, then you immediately want to get on and book your consulate appointment. Now, there is consulates all over the world in major cities. And unfortunately, if you don't live near one, you kind of have to get to one for this appointment because they are needed in order to go to the US. You'll book your consulate following the instructions you're provided, and then hopefully you do not have to wait too long. But I wouldn't be surprised if you are waiting a little while. So the quicker you get on and book, again, the more organized you are, the easier the whole process will be. Once you've booked, while you're waiting for your appointment, you want to make sure you get all of your documents ready. There are 7 documents you need to make sure you take to your consulate interview in order to hopefully be successful, and that is all provided to you by AmeriCamp. So there's no point stressing about that now. You'll have a very clear list, but you will make sure everything's ready. I keep all of my stuff in a folder just because it's so easy. And then this folder comes everywhere with me, to the consulate, over to the US. I make copies of it all as well, but keeping everything in one place, super handy, makes so much of a difference. Then the next step is going to the interview. You will go along with all your documents. It will probably take between like an hour or 2 hours. Just by the time you get in, you go through security, you can't take your phone or your belongings through, only your forms and your purse, because you'll need to pay some extra fees once you're in there. But you'll go to your interview, and then if you're successful, they will hold on to your passport and you will not get it back immediately. Now, I know in Australia we have the option to either pick it up from the consulate when it's ready or get it posted back to us. I stress over the postal, so I have opted to pick it up this year. You can do either, and I have done both before, and they're both totally fine. But yeah, they will put your visa right inside. It's such a pretty page in your passport too. I love it. I'm not going to show you it because it has my personal information on it, but you will be out of action with your passport while they have it. So make sure you do not have any international trips. Once you receive your passport back though, you are pretty close to being set to go. This is when you can book your flights, which is really, really exciting. You will have instructions from your camp about how you can travel to camp. Each camp will give you what they call their travel to camp instructions, and it'll be different for everyone. Depending on what their nearest airports are or bus stations, they will tell you how to get there. And then I know I've always just confirmed my flight details with them before booking, just to be super, super safe. And then once that is booked, you will confirm those details with your camp and with AmeriCamp. All right, we're getting towards the end of it now, which is exciting. I swear, there's so much work in the lead up to going to camp. And then once you're there, it is just easy and so nice just to settle into your like second home for the summer. But we're not quite there yet. So you've booked your flights, you're almost ready to go. One of the most important next things is attending an orientation. Orientation sessions are part of your visa. You have to actually attend one, but they are also so important in helping you get all the information you need to be a good counselor and to be a successful counselor for both you and for the kids that you're working with. They go over so much information, like how to be a good counselor, how to make the most of your time in the US too, what having a cultural exchange program actually means, what's expected of you, what experiences you should be having to fulfill this, because it's not just a camp counselor visa, it is a cultural exchange program. So you need to be getting out there and seeing things that are different to your home country. On top of that, they will also go through a whole bunch of information about what happens with your insurance, because we are provided insurance as part of our program, which is incredible, but how to access that information, how to use it if something goes wrong, all the information you need about tax, about social media guidelines at camp too, because those rules are pretty strict, how to look out for the children and to uphold child protection standards as well, and what to do if you get fired or if you have to leave suddenly as well. So there's a lot of information these orientations cover, and they are honestly everything you need before you're about to set off for your trip. Now, depending on where you've applied, the agency in your home country will let you know the specifics about how they're going to host this orientation. And usually these aren't until right before you leave. Like we're talking about April, May. So that information is fresh in your mind. You have everything you need just before you set off. But it's truly the best. And it's a great way to meet other counselors or people that are about to be counselors as well and make friends. And honestly, having that joint experience is just so heartwarming. At this point, you should be pretty much ready to go. If you have booked travel before camp, then you'll probably be setting off almost straight after that orientation, because on the visa, you get 30 days either side of your program dates as your grace period to travel. So you can actually travel for up to 60 days in the US, which is fantastic. I encourage you, if you have the time, to go and do that, because that is one of the biggest perks of this visa. But then while you're getting prepared, you want to make copies. Everything you have put in your folder, you want to have all of your copies at least on your carry-on at all times. And then I would even put another copy with family, with friends, and then even I just cover all my bases. You want to have copies everywhere. It's really, really important. I also take photos of it all and have like a Google Drive with the information that I need to, just for safety and security. copy everything because you never know what's going to go wrong. At some point, you're going to be landing in the US, probably early June, and then either doing a little pre-camp travel or going straight to camp. Either way, eventually you will travel to camp following your camp's instructions. And once you arrive, you have 3 days to check in with AmeriCamp. This is also a requirement of your visa, but you need to check in, let them know that you're there safely, where you're staying, that sort of information. And you will need to check in with them a couple times over the summer as well, so they can monitor your progress on the program and make sure that you are all well and good and happy. Now that is pretty much everything you need to do in order to become a camp counselor and have this incredible experience. Now, I hope that doesn't seem too daunting for you. It is a lot, in full transparency. It's a lot of paperwork, it's a lot of admin. Visas usually are, but it's so worth it. And your agency will guide you through every step of the way. If you have a question, there is someone with an answer, and they are not far away at all. So it really is not something you ever have to go out alone. Even if you're traveling alone and you're doing it alone, they are there to back you the whole way. And it is so possible to get everything you need to get done so you can go and do this. Now, camp is truly incredible. You guys know, where I stand with that. I think it's so cool. And especially while you're young, go and do it. You have nothing to lose. It's not all butterflies and rainbows and sunshine all the time. There are definitely some hard parts of camp, but it will build you up in ways that you never could get if you stayed at home. So I hope this has been a very clear overview for you of everything you do need to do. And I hope this has helped you realize that it's not too intimidating and you can do it and you can achieve it and you can go to camp. Now, as I said, AmeriCamp are an awesome, awesome company. They help people from the UK, Ireland, Australia, and New Zealand get over to camp, and they are a fantastic, fantastic sponsor. So feel free to check them out. The link is down in the description for you guys, as well as a discount code too. So feel free to use that, save a little bit of money on the fees, but all of the updated information about what you can expect to get paid, what the dates are, all of that you can find on their website. So go check it out. I really, truly wish you all the best with this experience. And I hope that you let me know when you are placed and you are heading off to camp, because I love sharing in that joy with you. I'll see you guys again soon though. Bye.